Every big win starts long before game day. On any given Monday, we go where cameras don't. Behind the contracts, the calls, and the chaos. We'll road trip with scouts, visit iconic campuses, step inside replay booths, and walk up to the luxury suites. Real organizations, real stories, real decisions. Lace up your cleats, buckle your chin strap. Here comes our GM, Matthew Miley.
Today on Any Given Monday, our guest is Josh Berlo. Mr. Berlo is the Vice Chancellor for Athletics and Ritchie Center Operations at the University of Denver. You know, or my Denver University sweatshirt. Had to get that. He came to the Mile High City in 2022 after spending 9 years as the AD for Minnesota Duluth, where he oversaw the most successful era in the history of their athletic department. In 2017 to 2018, Berlo was named the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics Division II AD of the Year. Before Duluth, he served 13 years in various roles at Notre Dame, including the Senior Assistant Director for Guest Relations and Event Marketing. Mr. Berlo serves on the Executive Committee of the prestigious Sports Management Institute. He earned his bachelor's degree in sport management from the University of Massachusetts in 1999, Go Minutemen, before receiving his MBA in finance and communication from Notre Dame in 2004, Go Irish. So, Mr. Berlo, I had another Notre Dame MBA grad on the show, who you know, Dr. Andrew T. Goodrich, the current AD at the University of Akron. He said that he made a plan to become a D1 athletic director in the MBA class he took at Notre Dame with then Notre Dame AD Kevin White, and he mapped out his plan, and 17 years later, it worked. So how does someone become a Division I athletic director? Is there a formal application process? Did your phone just ring one day and they said you're up next? What did that call look like for you when it came to Denver?
I don't know. I never really had a plan to take on the position of athletic director. I really just enjoyed the time supporting student athletes and coaches to help them reach their potential. And I'm a true believer in the life lessons and the building blocks for our future that sports provides. I don't think there's a better vehicle to learn about teamwork, leadership, success, failure, adversity than what sports gives us. The advice that I generally provide when asked questions similar to this is be the best that you can at the job that you have at the time. I certainly did know that I wanted to be a part of sports going forward. Sports was something that gave me a lot as a young person, gave me a place that I felt really comfortable, exposed me to folks that were key mentors in my life, and I just wanted to be a part of that, and sort of I knew that early on. I didn't know exactly what that would look like, but I knew that for me, and that led to the University of Massachusetts and their sports management program. That's arguably one of the oldest and best in the country, and has a lot of folks in college and professional sports that are graduates. And then that kind of led to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame led to some other things, and here we are, 25-ish years later. So I was probably more on the non-plan plan because I'm a pretty task-oriented person, so I was really focused on the job at hand, but always had the greater good, the greater mission of sports and in the institution at heart. And I've been really fortunate to have some great folks who gave me some great opportunities. And here we are today in a new era of college athletics, chasing championships and helping young people reach their potential with great, especially here at DU, great academic and competitive success. And it's hard to do those two things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And like you just said, you've been in the sports world for about 25 years. What have been the biggest lessons from that journey?
Yeah, I'll really go back to what sports teaches us. Life can be really hard at times, and we're all going to face adversity in our personal and professional lives. And the building blocks for navigating that adversity, the skill set that comes from what you experience in sports, and that can be in the competition space with tough losses or not reaching your potential or team dynamics. That can be an injury that you had to battle through that gives you the skill to navigate adversity. It can be learning how to hold teammates accountable. That's a hard thing to do, but it's a great life skill for success as you lead in the business world. So I would just continue to say that the life lessons we get from sports are immensely powerful, and to make sure that we're intentional about taking those lessons and deploying them in our lives.
Yeah. And so you spent nearly a decade at Minnesota Duluth. What
Mhm.
drew you to Denver, and what most excited you?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. Going to Duluth from Notre Dame. I'd been at Notre Dame for about 13 years, and did my grad work there and had the opportunity to support a lot of programs and work with some just incredible administrators who went on to really prominent roles as ADs and conference commissioners. Many of them are still doing that across the country. But I reached a point where I either needed to planned to be at Notre Dame for a really long time. And, I was in my early 30s and started to get some phone calls. And the opportunity to go up to Duluth was really cool. I mean, it was a point in time where we didn't have kids yet. My wife had navigated some health challenges, and she was in a good place. And they have these two exceptional Division I hockey programs, and then some great Division II sports. And we had a really good run. A couple of two Division II, two Division I men's hockey championships. Lost to Denver in a national title game in 2017, beat Notre Dame and UMass in 18 and 19 in title games. My last game in women's hockey was a national title loss to Ohio State. I then flew out to Colorado for an NCAA men's hockey matchup and lost in the regional final to Denver. And then a month later, I'm doing a press conference next door, holding up a Denver jersey.
Huh.
It's a small world in the hockey space, but Denver has a lot of similarities to my experience at Notre Dame. Championship expectations, high academics. We don't have football, but we really expect to succeed on a national level. But it also has some similarities to my time in Minnesota, where we swapped the rugged Northwoods for the rugged Rocky Mountains, and it's a really comfortable place for us. We love the mission oriented athletic department. We love the student athletes who seek to achieve at the highest level. I think we've had five or six of our programs get to a Final Four in the last decade, and our hockey program is second to none. But really successful gymnastics and skiing and men's soccer and lacrosse, and I could just keep going down the list. At a place that's a pretty modestly sized Division I athletic department, and doing all that with great academic success. So, I think we loved our time in Minnesota. We weren't looking to make a move, but Denver was just too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Yeah. And you said moved up to Minnesota with your wife, and you were there for a really long time, and then you take this job in Denver, which is kind of close to Minnesota, but not. It's kind of far. What were those first few weeks like that transition phase between Duluth and Denver? Not maybe
Yeah.
just a personal aspect too, but just like taking over such a successful department. What was that like?
Yeah, I had a good lens into Denver. I mean, I recall in my time at Notre Dame competing against Denver in soccer and in hockey and lacrosse. And um, my first year in Duluth was the first year of the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, Denver of which was a founding member. So, I spent 8 or 9 years sitting in the room with my predecessors. This was a place that I would almost always make the trip with the Duluth men's hockey team. We had a good donor base out here. I'd been to many games in Magnus Arena where the Denver hockey team competes. So it was a place I was really familiar with. And again, hockey's a small world, so I understood the institution, which really accelerates the learning curve. So professionally, it was a pretty quick. And the transitions are always rapid. There's a lot to do, and time is not on your side or your friend. But we ramped up quickly. Personally, I've spent quite a bit of time in Colorado. I've got family out here, so these transitions are always chaotic. And the analogy you hear the most is drinking from a fire hose. But um, this was probably as smooth and a familiar transition as you can have personally and professionally, given I knew some of the staff members here, I knew some of the coaches, I knew my way around the community. So we certainly hit the ground running, and 3 years went by quickly. And we're having great success. We get some big facility projects going on. We're doing well fundraising. We've changed conferences. We're playing a game at our NHL arena in a couple of weeks, and things are going really, really well. At a pivotal time in college athletics to make sure that we can hang on to the success that we have year in, year out is generally the most accomplished non-football athletic department in Division One, but also making sure we continue to do it the Denver way with great academic success and good social citizens. So it's been a lot of fun these last 3 years. We were fortunate enough to win our 10th men's hockey national championship. So now I'm lucky enough and been in the right place to have three national hockey championship rings, which is a pretty cool thing. And our son's been to three national championship hockey celebrations, and hoping to do that same thing in more of our sports.
Yeah. And speaking on that success, since you've have arrived in Denver, Denver has seen record ticket sales, strong donor growth, and continued national success, like you just said. Hockey title. What's been your strategic focus to drive that performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think empowering folks to reach their potential and elevating the support for our student athletes in a really holistic way. What can we do to help them be efficient and effective, manage their time? We've elevated what we do around food and nutrition. We've changed a bit how we travel in certain spaces. We've told our story a little bit better with our donors, and this is a really prideful, successful place that has a great history and tradition of success. I view my role along with my senior team as really the custodians of that. It's a privilege and honor, but also a sincere duty that we have to perpetuate this success. And how can we be innovative and creative and entrepreneurial, but continue to stay true to our values and what we believe is our way of being successful in college athletics. So we've had a lot going on. There's no question, and we've got great progress and momentum right now, and it's exciting. I think approaching the role with passion and boundless energy is really, really important. Um, and making sure that the staff and the coaches and student athletes know how much you believe in them, and working to support them and help them again just reach that potential competitively, academically, and socially.
Yeah. And DU is one of the most prominent non-FBS schools in the country. How do you maintain that level of excellence across so many sports?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of our secret sauce. My answer to that one is pretty much always people and culture, right? You need great coaches that bring in incredible student athletes. You need really strong cultures on those teams. It is very common for us to be matched up against bigger, better funded athletic departments. And as you get into the NCAA tournament, that's largely what you're going to face. And whether that's Power Four teams or the like, we're used to that. We're not intimidated by it, and it's a big cultural thing here that we're very proud of. It takes a supportive university. It takes great fans and great donors to help us do that. And we do it a little bit differently, but we're very proud of how we do that. And sometimes it gets a little hard to schedule because some of those teams don't want to play you
Hmm.
because there's a risk of which side of the win-loss ledger they're going to be on. But it's certainly a massive point of pride for us that we're able to have that level of success. And I give all the credit to an incredible staff and a great group of coaches who bring in these student athletes and give them the framework, right? That's really our role, is to set up the framework for empowerment and achievement.
Yeah. And speaking on that Denver culture and the framework with the coaches and staff, what qualities do you look for when you're hiring coaches and senior staff that lets you know that they're going to fit in perfectly in Denver?
Yeah, I've done a lot of coaching searches in particular, and I look for, first and foremost, the number one criteria for me is always character. It's got to be someone who has verifiable, bulletproof, high standards when it comes to character. It's got to be someone who wants to be at the University of Denver. A lot of the time when I've done these searches, I'll get folks, well, I want to be a Division I coach in whatever that sport may be. we're looking for someone who wants to be the coach at Denver and sees the advantages and the attributes that we have here. Because we have a unique mix of sports. We are unique in the fact that we have this broad-based success without a football program and not being a large public flagship. But if you can see the value in that and buy into it, and we've had several coaches choose to have other opportunities that you could argue were certainly bigger, but not necessarily better, that have chosen to continue to be here at Denver. And we need folks that see the value in it, that are in it for the right reasons. And then, some pretty special things can happen. I like hiring sitting head coaches. I think until you're in that seat of leadership, regardless of what the discipline is, you think you know what it's going to be, but you
Mhm.
might not know exactly what it's like. So I do like hiring sitting head coaches. But at the same time, we need to give people opportunities to grow and learn. And thus far, we've done a really good job of bringing the right people here to Denver, and similarly in Duluth, because the opportunity to elevate a program, to restore a program, and build on its legacy is spectacular.
Yeah. And you said you like to hire sitting head coaches, and you've led teams through major change and growth. How do you help some, maybe younger staff that maybe haven't been there in the head coach spot, or maybe not head coaching spot, but how do you help them see the big picture and grow as future leaders?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a multi-billion-dollar business on Amazon around leadership books, right? And
Mhm.
and I think that we oftentimes don't realize the quality of the leadership lessons that are right around us. And I really encourage folks to take in the leaders that they're surrounded by. So we encourage a lot of sharing of information amongst our coaches. I recently took one of our head coaches meetings and pivoted and turned it into a panel. And I took four of our head coaches and I put them up in front of the rest of the group, and I interviewed them because I know what they're really good at, right? I
Mhm.
know what their strengths are. And to share that knowledge with the other coaches, some of whom are first time head coaches or newer head coaches, and to take someone who is a very seasoned, proven, accomplished veteran and put them on the spot and ask them some questions. And they're very humble. They're not going to brag about it, but if I put them on the spot and I can kind of pull it out of them, then they'll share that with the group. And I think it's taking advantage of the leadership. I had a great period at Notre Dame where I was the junior member of senior staff, but surrounded by these incredible folks who became ADs at some of the most prestigious institutions and athletic departments across the country, Power Four commissioners, and I was pretty intentional. And I had no idea, right? I mean, I knew they were talented, but I had no idea they would move on to all these impressive roles. But I always made a point to listen. And sometimes it's just being there and listening and learning and asking questions like, why did you make this decision? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Leadership books are great, and that's awesome stuff. But to be surrounded by these coaches who are incredible leaders, these administrators who are incredible leaders, soak it all in. And I encourage our newer coaches, even very, very accomplished newer coaches, talk to some of the folks that have been here. Find out what their recruiting pitch is. Find out what their scheduling philosophy is. Find out how they motivate their staffs, because they're doing it at the highest level. And what you're going to get from them is a lot better than what you're going to get for 1995 on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said you had this great staff and administration. And earlier you said that the college realm of sports has just totally flipped on its head in the past couple of years. What makes a great athletic director and senior administrator now in today's landscape?
Yeah, I think you've got well, first of all, one of our great advantages is we have a strong identity. We know who we are, we know what we stand for, we have proof of concept. So we're trying to sustain success. I think it's a different challenge if you're trying to climb up the ladder of success. Um, those are different challenges, and they're both hard, frankly. But we know who we are, we know what we stand for. We're not trying to be something that we're not. As far as attributes, people that are in it for the right reasons, that believe in it, that do it because they're passionate about it. Um, those are those intangibles you can't put a price on, and skills are important, but personal and emotional investment in your profession is another. We've had a couple of former student athletes here at Denver return as full-time staff in coaching and in other disciplines. And who better to represent and sell an institution, whether it's ticket sales, philanthropy, or recruiting, than someone who wore the jersey. And
Yeah.
I love having former student athletes on the staff because they don't have to be a part of this thing, but they had such an incredible experience. They have such a deep passion for the university and athletics here that they choose to spend their professional career doing this. And that's a really, really cool thing.
Now let's jump over to your operations and what you do. How do you ensure every program from hockey, gymnastics, skiing feels equally valued and resourced?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a great team of administrators. We have a sport administrator model, so somebody on the staff is the primary support system for those programs. I think you've got to spend time with the athletes. I will meet with teams. I will meet with all the teams. I'll meet with all the captains. And it's a challenge to ensure that 350 people know how much you are working to get behind them. I also think you have to show them, right? So the places that we've renovated facilities, that we've added food and nutrition, the quality of the coaching that we've brought in. But so I think it's a combination of having FaceTime and dialogue and authenticity, and people see the work ethic of myself and our senior staff. They see us on the road. They know how hard we're working to support their success. So I'll go back to some simple leadership principles such as leading by example, right? Leading by example is really, really important. And I'm not going to ask anybody to do something that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in early and stay late when that's what needs to happen, which is frankly almost every day. But you do it because it's a passion and you believe in it, and people can sense that passion. They can sense that energy. And we put together about a 10-minute video that I show each team when I meet with the athletes about the history and tradition of Denver athletics, because they know a lot about their specific team, right? They know all about their team, but they don't necessarily know that they're part of a place that has 35 team national championships, or that we've had, all these Olympians and all these All-Americans in other sports dating back to 1864. So we show them that video because I think it does communicate that you're part of something bigger, and that comes with an opportunity, but again, a duty to further and contribute to that rich history and tradition. So we share that video with them. We talk really openly about what it means to be a Denver Pioneer, and that it's a special opportunity to again add to that legacy, and that we expect folks to give it their all to contribute to that and have a great time along the way.
Yeah, and now let's imagine that it's game day. Say the hockey team's about to take the ice later in the afternoon. What is the behind the scenes operations look like on a typical game day that a fan most likely will never see?
Yeah, no, we got a lot of people working to make sure that all the pieces of the puzzle go well, whether that's parking, ticketing, our technology behind the scenes. We've got a four-sided center hung, two corner boards. We'll have youth groups, and so there's a lot of concurrent moving parts, and that goes back to people who are passionate about putting on a great event. We're very fortunate that in hockey and gymnastics and lacrosse and soccer, we have great crowds, really, really good crowds, and looking to elevate our crowds in basketball and some other sports as we have more success. Um, it's investment in your facilities. We replaced all the seating in our hockey gymnastics arena last year. Um, people see that, and it's dialogue with the fans. We have a fan advisory board, so we understand what's important to them and what changes they like or don't like. So again, I think it goes back to energy and authenticity and a lot of moving parts, but all those people that are moving in sync. Hopefully, not always. It's an imperfect science, but all those folks that are moving in sync, they know they know their job, and they have a passion for doing it well. But it's a lot of moving parts, and it all really comes down to two things: people and technology, both of which are inherently imperfect by their nature.
Yeah, yeah. So something else that we've kind of hinted out a little bit throughout the show so far is college sports. have dramatically changed. Like it's been crazy. Realignment, NIL, transfer portal. I know you said earlier that Denver changed conferences, but how else has Denver been affected by these new changes?
Yeah, again, I think we've been a little bit insulated from it, not having football. We've generally had a pretty modest rate. I'm certainly a big supporter of student athlete mobility. I think the transfer portal has provided some good opportunities for athletes, both coming into and maybe seeking a different opportunity than here. The revenue sharing, name, image, and likeness space. We're expanding. We just hired a general manager for revenue sharing and name, image, and likeness, who's a former student athlete, and we'll do that. There's been some great academic integration opportunities that name, image, and likeness and revenue sharing have had. So we have a law school, so we're working with the law school to have some educational integration opportunities there. Of course, our business school. So we feel good about how we're navigating those new realities. And a lot of them were a long time coming and have been really positive. But again, it goes back to doing it in a way that is consistent with our mission, vision, and values. And thus far, we feel great about it. And we've been able to continue to have national level success. So the world has certainly changed and evolved. We're able to support student athletes in ways that just a couple of years ago were impermissible. So we're excited about the future here and certainly represent some challenges. But overall, we're absolutely thrilled about where we're headed and the way that we approach it.
Yeah, and like you're saying, Denver has still continued to have immense success in this new era of college sports. So, what makes DU stand out from any other university and how it's handling these changes?
Yeah, I think at our core, it's a fantastic institution, generally ranked right around a top 100 university, a great academic experience, beautiful campus, incredible setting here in the shadow of the Rocky Mountains. It's a really great place. The institution is committed to athletics, and we have these successful programs that we're able to sustain because we lean into our identity. We're progressive. We embrace the change, and we're one of the earlier institutions at our level to opt into the new realities of the House settlement, and look forward to sustaining our levels of excellence. Um, we feel again, it's cliche, right? But we feel really good
Mhm.
about our future.
Yeah, and besides all those championships and success, what do you hope that every athlete takes away from their time at DU?
Yeah, I really hope that they get a great education. They learn some incredible life lessons that builds their toolbox for their careers. That they take those life lessons with some intentionality on how to use them to have a really fruitful, productive, and happy life. We want them to be proud pioneers on what the teams do after they leave here, and to represent that they had the opportunity to um, dive in with both feet into a rigorous academic and athletic experience and be successful and look back on it fondly and proudly wear their DU swag.
Yeah, and when they leave uh, DU, what systems are in place for them to um, what systems are in place for them to succeed, continue to succeed mentally and professionally after graduation?
Yeah, we do a leadership institute early in their junior year to start talking about that transition. We'll do a leadership panel that focuses on sort of being a leader on a team in their remaining couple of years generally, and then we'll do a sort of more corporate business leadership panel with leaders from around Denver and beyond. Um, we have a career person come in and talk about using that experience as student athlete to advantage you in your job search and your career. And then we have a fantastic career center here at the university, and there's no way we could replicate what the Burwell Center does as well as they do. So we lean on them because they have such a strong career and advancement center and helping all of our students be successful. And they've got a dedicated staff member that works with our athletes, and we spend a lot of time encouraging our athletes to use that great resource because it's there for today, tomorrow, and beyond.
And Denver as a whole is a very unique city, active, outdoorsy, and sports obsessed. how does the local culture shape the student athlete experience, and does the success of the Avs? I mean, they won Stanley Cup a couple years ago. Nuggets won it recently.
Hmm.
Broncos are doing great right now.
Yeah.
Rockies won't lose a game for another 4 months. I mean, does that create any
Yeah.
added pressure at DU?
Well, I think we want to be part of that, and we've got a great history of it, and I'm excited about the Rockies' trajectory, and we've got some great relationships with all the franchises, particularly the Avalanche. We've got current and former and future Avs players. We're doing a doubleheader game at their arena the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so they've got a game in the afternoon, and then we're playing in the evening against the University of Minnesota, which is a rival we haven't had here in Colorado since the conference shift a dozen or so years ago. So we have good relationships there, and it's sort of akin to what we have in the department. There's a healthy level of competition between our programs to be nationally successful, and you see programs that office down the hallway. You want to be just as successful as they were. We want to be the sort of the shining college star of Denver. So it is a great sports town. It's awesome the opportunities our student athletes get to experience the mountains. Many of them haven't ever experienced life at altitude,
Mhm.
and whether that's we want them to stay safe out there, but hiking, skiing, fishing is world class out here, and we hope that they have an opportunity to do that and really soak in all of Colorado. Interestingly enough, about 70% of our students, not student athletes, but all students, come from outside of Colorado. 70% of our graduates stay here in Colorado. And there's a reason for that, because it is a fantastic place to live and work.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out there a couple of times out in Denver for Broncos Nuggets visiting family, and it's awesome. It's a really really awesome city. And so, how do you engage the broader Denver community and fan base to strengthen support for the Pioneers?
Yeah, a couple different ways. First, when Denver was elevated to Division One in the late '90s, they built this fantastic complex called the Ritchie Center, and it was really built with an eye towards engaging the community. We have youth camps and youth sports, and a very robust swim club and a community workout facility. So, it's a very open building, where you can literally have, whether it's future MLS or uh, Olympian gymnasts, NHL players, whatever it may be, right next to little kids learning the game for the first time, and
Mhm.
that's a big piece of our identity. So we're proud of that. From a marketing perspective, we've planted our flag on Denver's home for college sports. We are the only Division One athletic department within the Denver Metro proper, and we're proud of that and look to embrace it. Denver is largely made up of folks that didn't grow up here, and they're looking to engage that college sports experience. And it's a great one. So we certainly market to folks that we might not be your alma mater, we might not be your hometown team, but we've got these incredible student athletes who are doing amazing things. So we're more than happy to be your Denver adopted team in the college space, and our attendances reflect that. We do really well with our crowds.
Yeah, and now let's look back and reflect a little bit at your career. What would you tell students who dream of working in college sports someday?
Yeah, I would tell them it can be, well, first, it has to be a passion. You need to do it because it's something that motivates you, that you're passionate about, because it certainly is a lot of fun. It's also a ton of work, right? I mean, this is it's a big job, and all of my staff have big jobs to make it all happen every day. So make sure that you're in it for the right reasons. The opportunity to support folks and help them reach their potential in sport and beyond is a special one. And it's a competitive space. Competitive people are drawn to sports, and that's a healthy thing. I would encourage folks to really consider it if they have a passion for it and they want to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah, and what small habits or mindsets help you grow into a leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll go back to leading by example is really important. Understanding that in leadership, the words you choose really matter and have an impact on people. Showing authentic and appreciation for, I don't think it's possible to say thank you enough. Especially in this field, people are doing it essentially the cliche love of the game. And we put in a soccer video board a couple of weeks ago in record time, and I sent some thank you notes to the staff members just today that led that effort, because they pulled off something in an incredibly short period of time to get it done before the last regular season games. So on senior day, we could use the video board to enhance the recognition of our seniors. And then we're fortunate enough to be hosting our conference men's soccer championship on Saturday, and the video board adds a whole nother experiential dynamic for the student athletes and the fans. But appreciation for the above and beyond efforts that people put forth every day. Um, and just making sure that you're following your compass, and it's cliche, but understanding your why. I do this because I'm motivated to help people reach their potential. Um, and that's what gets me going every day. And it's the little moments for me that I get to see, because I see the pain when somebody's rehabbing an injury. I see how hard they work in the weight room. I see them studying in the bus and in the airports. um, and then most folks get to enjoy the finished product. So for me, it's the little moments of seeing somebody who had a really scary injury come back.
Mm-hmm.
um, Seeing a student athlete a couple of years later. I've been doing this long enough now that former student athletes will reach out to me and just want to reconnect and let me know what they're up to, and sometimes ask me for some guidance. So um, I'll just sort of go back to leading by example, understanding what motivates you and leaning into that, staying true to your moral compass, understanding the mission and vision of your institution, and giving it everything that you've got. And when people see your work ethic and passion, you can really inspire them without having to use words.
Yeah. And what do you hope DU athletics represents to the rest of college sports?
Yeah, pursuit of excellence. Pursuit of excellence with integrity, with high academic achievement, with good social citizens. We're not afraid to talk about winning here. We love winning, but one of the things we love about winning is having high expectations. You learn how to deal with pressure. Pressure is a privilege. One of our coaches says that a lot. And there are moments where we've gotten really close to national championships and it hasn't come together. And what I tell the athletes in those moments is that, being part of something that has championship level expectations, it's really hard to live up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to be part of something that doesn't have that level of expectation,
Yeah.
because of what you learn in the journey of chasing a championship. Chasing a championship is hard. Chasing a championship involves doing all of the little things for a long time, and not cheating on your workouts, um, not cutting corners in your schoolwork, taking care of your body, getting your sleep. It's all those little things that add up, and when they come together, they can give you the opportunity to win a championship. And then you've got to execute in the moment. And at some point along that journey, you also need a couple of things to break your way. And I really do believe that we make our own luck for the most part, but we don't make all of it. Um, so I really would say the pursuit of excellence, and then what we learn about ourselves and how to be really productive humans through that learning process of chasing championships.
Yeah. And now it's time for my favorite part of these shows is the lightning round. I got a couple of quick answer questions for you so we can just zip right through. What's one email subject line that instantly spikes your blood pressure? A, urgent faculty issue. B, compliance question. Or C, parent concern.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a D, all of the above. All those things are important, and we need to give them attention.
What were your immediate emotions when DU defeated BC for the 2024 national championship? And how did it feel beating your alma mater UMass along the way?
I would just say pride. I mean, again, I see all the little things that go into it. So incredibly proud of our student athletes, and that the Boston College one in particular. We were not thought to be the team that was going to prevail
Mm-hmm. Okay.
outside of our locker room and institution.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. at a DU hockey game, are you actually watching the puck or scanning the concourse concessions and fan flow like an AD on patrol?
I'm gonna also say all of the above.
Okay. All right. What sports did you play growing up, and how did those experiences shape the way you see athletes today? And were you any good?
Yeah, I was a decent junior golfer, but for me, the golf course really was a comfortable place. The golf pro was a real father figure to me. And then I was an alpine skier. I was probably better as an alpine skier. And I'll go with our team now when they do some training, and it's fun and they get a kick out of it. So I'll jump in the van with them at 5 a.m. and we'll go and do some laps. And our ski team, both Nordic and Alpine, are incredible. But you won't catch me out on the Nordic slopes. But I'm happy to make some turns with them and hit some high speeds out in the Alpine course.
All right. So now that you're saying you're kind of or decent athlete, if given a full year of training, 8 hours a day, 365, you don't have to work or anything. You don't have to worry about it. You're just constantly training 8 hours a day for a year. Could you stop former Pioneer and current Minnesota Wild defenseman, if he watches this, I'm sorry if I butcher his name, Zeev Buyum from scoring? Be honest, or would you just try to out negotiate him?
No, Zeev is fantastic. And I'm way better on skis than skates. So, I would probably just end up passing the puck and getting out of the way and watching Zeev do his thing. He's a fantastic young man. His older brother played for us too. They're a great family, and we're really proud of Zeev and what he did as a pioneer and what we know he's going to do in the future.
Yeah, he's an amazing athlete. Who's the most Denver person you've met so far? Someone who perfectly captures that mountain town meets big city energy.
Yeah, boy, there's a lot of them. I'm gonna go with a guy named Ron Graham, who was a goalie here quite a while ago. Played in the NHL, came back here and retired just a few years ago, and lives in town, is at all of our games. He is Mr. Pioneer. He did it at every level, and we had Ron on our panel at our Leadership Institute 2 weeks ago. And he is so proud and so smart and really represents us at incredible levels. So my Mr. Pioneer would be Ron Graham.
Okay. Let's say your phone starts ringing tomorrow and it's the NCAA saying, Josh, we're adding one new varsity sport tomorrow. What sport are you lobbying for and why?
Yeah, boy, that's a really hard one. We've got such a unique mix of sports here. I'd love to see continued investment in a lot of sports. I don't know that I have one that I'd like to see them add, but certainly I'd like to continue to see a commitment to broad-based excellence.
Okay.
And as we're in a world where football and other sports are getting a lot of attention, and that's great. We love the attention. We see the opportunity to elevate our basketball programs as one of the greatest opportunities our department has. And I traveled with football at Notre Dame for a decade. I love college football, but I would like to see continued commitment to broad-based excellence and ensuring that opportunities for student athletes continue to sustain this period of evolution. Because the opportunity to be a student athlete is a fantastic experience at any level. And I think of my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law who were Division III track athletes. They met on their team. They've got a great family. They're just awesome humans, but it was their experience of being student athletes together on the track team that really was the impetus for what their families become today.
And if you could swap jobs with any DU coach for a day, whose whistle are you taking and what's your first practice drill?
I'd be the ski coach for sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, I'd be the ski coach. I'd take the whistle. We'd go run some gates. Maybe go do some free skiing at some different mountains. So yeah, no, I would swap with Jonas in a minute.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the final question, what are you doing on any given Monday?
Yeah, in this deal, and you've probably heard it before, like I don't know that two Mondays are the same. So, um, I could be on the road. What I'd like to do on Mondays is, um, you know, get a workout in, get in early, have a cup of coffee, and try to either get caught up from last week or ahead for this week. But oftentimes that doesn't get to happen. This is a space where you could probably work 24 hours a day, and that's okay. You have to have the discipline to when to shut it down and make sure you're taking care of yourself to stay efficient, effective. But it's fun because our job is to go to the game. So any given Monday is going to be 52 different answers.
Well, that's all I got for you today. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Great stuff, and keep it rolling.